7 things that stop matter. After 70. A shift in perspective. What if some of the things you've spent your whole life worrying about suddenly lose their significance after 70? As the years go by, our priorities naturally change, not because we've given up, but because we've gained a deeper understanding of what truly deserves our time, energy, and peace of mind. There's a quiet wisdom that comes with age, one that no book or piece of advice can offer. It's the kind you get from simply living long enough to know what truly matters and what never really did. In this video, we're going to explore 7 things that simply don't matter anymore after 70. These aren't abstract ideas. They're real-life truths grounded in experience, backed by psychology, and shared by seniors across generations. If you've ever felt pressured to keep up with the world, hold on to things that no longer feel important, or chase goals that just don't bring joy anymore, this is for you. Each of these 7 things has, at some point, caused stress or worry, but now they don't have to anymore, not because you've grown indifferent, but because you've earned the freedom to let them go. And this freedom doesn't mean apathy, it means clarity. When you stop worrying about things that no longer deserve your attention, you create space to embrace what really matters: health, purpose, connection, and peace. So if you've ever wondered when life starts to feel lighter, not because your burdens disappear, but because you learn how to carry them differently, stay with us. These 7 insights might not only confirm what your heart has been telling you, but also give you permission to live the rest of your life with more grace, confidence, and less unnecessary weight. Let's dive in. 1. Other people's opinions. There was a time when what others thought of you seemed important, whether it was about your clothes, job, car, or the way you raised your children. Outside judgment often felt like a measure of your worth. But after 70, something shifts. You begin to see other people's opinions for what they are: fleeting, inconsistent, and often rooted in their own insecurities. You realize that living your life for others doesn't bring peace, it only delays your own. Take Eleanor, 74, who used to hesitate before making any decision that felt too different. She worried about neighbors commenting on her garden or family criticizing her decision to start painting again. But one day, she caught herself asking, "Why does it matter what anyone thinks?" That question stuck with her, and the more she lived by it, the more freedom she felt. Now she wears bright colors, plants what she likes, and displays her art, even if it's a little messy. And you know what? She smiles more now than she did in her 50s. Letting go of the need for approval doesn't mean becoming rude or indifferent. It means honoring your own voice above the noise and understanding that people will have opinions no matter what you do, and they'll often forget them just as quickly. What sticks is how you feel about your choices. After 70, you realize you can't please everyone, and trying only leads to frustration. This isn't about isolating yourself, it's about liberation. You become more selective about whose voices matter, and that's a good thing. The opinions that matter most are from those who love you, not from those who barely know you. And even then, you have every right to make decisions that serve your health, happiness, and peace of mind. There's a quiet power in walking into a room and not wondering what anyone thinks of you. It's not arrogance, it's wisdom. It's the kind of self-trust that only time can teach. Once you experience it, there's no going back. Because nothing feels as good as knowing you're finally living life on your own terms, without apology or permission. 2. Trying to follow trends. In our culture, there's often a quiet pressure to stay current, stay sharp, and stay with it. Whether it's fashion, technology, or the latest lifestyle fad, there's a silent expectation to keep up or risk being labeled as outdated. But after 70, that pressure fades away. You begin to realize how shallow most trends really are, how quickly they come and go, and how little they actually contribute to your comfort or sense of self. Take Harold, 78, who used to buy whatever everyone else was wearing. If jeans were tighter, he bought tighter jeans. If the phone got smarter, he upgraded, even when he didn't need to. But it wasn't until he bought a pair of soft corduroys that fit just right and returned to reading paper books because he loved their smell and feel that he realized he didn't care about being trendy. He cared about being comfortable, about being himself. And that shift brought him more peace than any new gadget ever had. Trends are designed to make you feel like you're missing out, selling you urgency and the illusion that if you don't act now, you'll be left behind. But once you cross a certain threshold in life, you see the truth. Trends don't matter. What matters is finding what brings you comfort and joy and being okay with not following the crowd. You start to realize that the only thing worth chasing is what truly serves you. If a style flatters you, wear it. If a new tool makes your life easier, use it. But never feel pressured to change just because someone else says it's the latest thing. There's dignity in choosing timelessness over trendiness and strength in honoring your own rhythm. At this stage, you've seen enough trends come and go to know that what's in today was out yesterday and might be back again next year. That's a game you don't need to play anymore. You've already won the one that matters, the journey to knowing who you are and what makes you feel comfortable in your own skin. So wear the shoes that support your feet, listen to the music that soothes your soul, and decorate your space with things that bring you peace, not what's popular. True confidence isn't about being on trend, it's about being unapologetically at home in your life. If you're still with us and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend hitting the subscribe button and turning on the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's keep going. Number 3. Regretting the past. We all carry a few moments we'd like to rewrite. Maybe a missed opportunity, a harsh word spoken, or a decision we wish we'd handled differently. Regret often becomes a quiet companion that follows us through the years, but after 70, something softens. You start seeing your past not as a list of mistakes, but as a roadmap that led you exactly where you needed to be. The more you reflect, the more you realize that everything you've lived, both the joy and the sorrow, has shaped your strength, wisdom, and depth. Take Walter, 81, who spent years replaying a decision from his early 40s, turning down a job that would have paid more but meant relocating. For decades, he wondered if it was the wrong move, but now, sitting in the same home where he raised his kids and watched his grandkids grow, he sees things differently. That choice, while uncertain at the time, gave him stability, presence, and a life filled with relationships that still matter. What once felt like regret now feels like a blessing in disguise. Regret loses its grip when you meet it with compassion. At 70 and beyond, you've earned the right to stop judging your younger self. That version of you was doing the best they could with the knowledge, resources, and emotional capacity they had at the time. Just like you wouldn't scold a child for not knowing algebra, you can stop scolding your past self for the things you didn't know then. There's freedom in acknowledging, that happened, I learned from it, and I'm still here. It doesn't mean you forget, it means you integrate. You take the lessons, the growth, the scars, and let them guide you now rather than punish you. Because regret can only exist in the past, and your life is unfolding in the present. Every new day is another page yet to be written. Instead of dwelling on what could have been, you focus on what still can be. And that shift from regret to resolve is one of the greatest gifts age can offer. You no longer carry the past like a burden, you carry it like a lantern, lighting your way with hard-earned clarity. Number 4, comparing yourself to others. At some point in life, we all measure ourselves against someone else. It may start in school, who has better grades, more friends, or cooler clothes, and continue through adulthood, who has the bigger house, the longer marriage, the more successful children. But after 70, the urge to compare begins to fade. You start seeing that everyone walks a path filled with hidden struggles and silent victories. No two lives are alike. No one's journey, timing, or meaning is the same. Take Lois, 75, who used to scroll through social media and feel small. Seeing old friends on vacations, celebrating anniversaries, or holding grandkids made her feel like she was missing something. But one afternoon, while walking through her garden, she had an epiphany. She was comparing highlight reels to her own quiet, meaningful life. She had health, freedom, and a few dear friends she could count on. That realization changed how she viewed her own story, not as lacking, but as uniquely hers. Comparison is a thief. It doesn't just steal your joy, it steals your focus. When you're busy looking sideways, you forget to look inward and forward. While someone else's life might seem shinier or easier from the outside, you never truly know what they're carrying. The truth is, no one escapes life without hardship, loss, or regret, not even the ones who seem to have it all together. After 70, you begin to realize that success isn't about reaching the same milestones as everyone else. It's about peace. It's about the relationships that nourish you, the passions that still light you up, and the quiet moments that remind you of how far you've come. You've lived through enough seasons to know that comparison is almost always based on incomplete information. The most powerful metric isn't how your life looks from the outside, but how it feels on the inside. So let others live their stories while you continue writing your own. Let their successes inspire you without diminishing your own journey. You don't need to match anyone else's path. You only need to stay true to who you are, where you are, and what truly matters to you. If you're still with us and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend subscribing and turning on the bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move on. Number 5, pushing your body beyond its limits. In earlier years, many of us felt the need to prove our strength, stamina, or simply our ability to keep up. Whether it was lifting heavy things without asking for help, pushing through pain, or pretending not to feel tired, we often ignored our body's quiet requests for rest in the name of pride or productivity. But once you hit 70, a new kind of wisdom kicks in, one that tells you it's not weakness to slow down, it's wisdom. It's not defeat to rest, it's respect. And it's not lazy to protect your energy, it's self-preservation. Take Charles, 80, who used to insist on mowing his lawn every week, even in the summer heat. He told himself it was good exercise and a sign of independence. But after a dizzy spell sent him to the doctor, he realized his body wasn't asking him to stop. It was asking him to listen. So he hired a local team to help. Now Charles still enjoys the outdoors, but from a chair in the shade, sipping iced tea and chatting about baseball while the lawn gets trimmed. He didn't lose anything by stepping back. He gained peace. At this stage in life, your value isn't tied to how much you can carry, how far you can walk without resting, or how quickly you bounce back from strain. You've spent a lifetime using your body to care for others, to build a home, to make a living. Now your body deserves your care in return. And that means listening to its whispers before they turn into shouts. It means honoring your limits without shame. When you stop pushing for the sake of appearances, you open space for healing. You start to notice the subtle cues your body gives you and respond with kindness rather than judgment. You learn to stretch gently, walk at your own pace, take naps when needed, and ask for help without embarrassment. There's strength in knowing when to act and when to pause. Rest isn't quitting, it's a form of participation in your own longevity. Pacing yourself isn't about doing less, it's about doing what matters most with presence and clarity. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore, not even to yourself. You've already done more than enough, and now you have the right to move through life with ease, grace, and a full heart. Number 6. Holding on to grudges. There's something heavy about resentment. Even when it's buried deep, it lingers quietly, coloring your thoughts, draining your energy, and keeping parts of your heart closed off. In younger years, holding a grudge can feel like a form of protection. Like if you stay angry, you're guarding yourself from being hurt again. But by the time you reach 70, you start to realize just how much those old wounds are costing you. Suddenly, the energy it takes to stay angry doesn't seem worth it anymore. Phyllis, 79, had a falling out with her sister when they were in their 50s. The details faded over time, but the distance remained. For years, every family gathering was filled with tension and polite avoidance. But after a recent surgery made her realize how fragile life can be, Phyllis decided to pick up the phone. They talked for an hour, not about the past, but about their grandkids, their gardens, and their memories. That call didn't erase everything, but it softened the edges. It gave them both peace they hadn't felt in years. Letting go of a grudge doesn't mean saying what happened was okay. It means deciding that your peace matters more than your pain. It means recognizing that forgiveness isn't always for the other person, it's for you. Carrying bitterness for too long takes up space that could be filled with joy, connection, and healing. There's freedom in releasing old anger. There's lightness in choosing not to replay that old conversation one more time in your head. You start to understand that people are flawed, complicated, and often hurt others from their own places of pain. While that doesn't excuse the harm, it explains it. And that understanding helps you soften, not for their sake, but for yours. Forgiveness doesn't always require reconciliation. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "I'm done carrying this," and setting it down. It's about giving yourself the freedom to move forward without dragging the weight of the past. You've got better things to carry now: hope, joy, curiosity, and love. And these things can only thrive in a heart that isn't weighed down by old pain. If you're still with us and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend subscribing and turning on the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs and inspires you. Now let's move on. Number 7, rushing to meet someone else's timeline. Throughout life, we're told there's a schedule we're supposed to follow. Graduate by this age, settle down by that age, retire by this point, find love by that point. It's a script many of us have felt pressured to follow, and when we don't hit those marks on time, we often feel like we've missed our chance. But after 70, that whole framework starts to fall apart. You begin to see how artificial those deadlines really were, and how much joy there is beyond the so-called schedule. Henry, 82, started taking piano lessons last year. He'd always wanted to play, but never had the time or confidence to start. He worried that he'd be too slow, too stiff, or just too late. But now, every morning, his fingers move across the keys with quiet pride. He's not focused on mastering the piano. He cares about the music, the curiosity, and the joy of doing something just for himself. And that's what makes it beautiful. After 70, you realize that nothing meaningful in life has an expiration date. Love, learning, creativity, healing, these things don't stop because of a number. They grow when you make room for them. The truth is, rushing towards someone else's idea of success only distracts you from finding your own. Whether you start a new hobby, mend a relationship, or take a leap of faith, the timing is always perfect if it feels right to you. Letting go of the race doesn't mean giving up. It means waking up. Waking up to the truth that the most fulfilling chapters of your life might still be ahead. Your story doesn't need to match anyone else's timeline to be meaningful. Joy, growth, and discovery are not just for the young, they're for the willing. So if something has been tugging at your heart, don't ask if it's too late. Ask instead, is this still calling me? If the answer is yes, then it matters. And if it matters to you, that's enough. You're not behind. You're right where you're meant to be, writing a life that honors your own pace, desires, and truth. Final thoughts. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect on the 7 things we've explored. Which ones felt familiar? Which ones gave you permission to breathe a little easier or be kinder to yourself? Maybe you've already let go of some of these, or maybe this is the first time you're realizing how much unnecessary weight you've been carrying. Either way, now is the perfect time to lighten the load. Life after 70 isn't about winding down, it's about waking up to your own voice, needs, and rhythm. It's about stopping the chase for things that don't serve you and starting to treasure the things that truly do. You've earned this peace, not by avoiding hardship, but by walking through it. And every step, even the ones you questioned, has brought you to this place of clarity. Letting go of what doesn't matter isn't about becoming indifferent, it's about being intentional. Choosing presence over pressure, joy over judgment, and depth over distraction. The more you embrace this, the more room you make for connection, purpose, and meaning in the years ahead. So, as you move forward, remember, you don't need to keep up. You don't need to look back. You only need to be here, fully present, fully yourself, and fully open to what still awaits. Because what no longer matters has cleared the way for what truly does. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs and inspires you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.